The little shiny dots in the sky we see every night, the ones you learned about in a nursery rhyme as kids. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. These firefly-like spots that dot the night sky are called stars. Stars are huge spheres of hot glowing gas. These produce their own energy and light through nuclear fusion. This is when light elements are forced to become heavier. For example, hydrogen being forced to become helium. When this occurs, an enormous amount of energy is produced. This causes the star to heat up and glow. Stars are made of very hot gas, mostly hydrogen and helium, which are two of the lightest elements. Stars burn hydrogen to helium in their cores, and later in their life cycle, they create heavier elements. They are born in nebulae, which are clouds of dust and mostly hydrogen gas. In this nebulae, stars begin life as protostars. Protostars are hot cores that are formed by the collection and collapse of dust and gas. As the protostars start getting hotter, the hydrogen nuclei, plural for nucleus, inside the cores fuse and they create helium. This chemical reaction, known as thermonuclear fusion, generates the star's heat and energy, which is what makes it shine. There are many sizes when it comes to stars. Our sun, for example, is an average-sized yellowish star. Usually, stars smaller than the sun are reddish, and those that are bigger are blue. The color also shows the temperature of the stars. Blue and white stars are usually hotter than warm-toned stars. White, yellow, and orange are other colors. The surface temperature of stars is classified in spectral classes. These 7 major groups go from the coolest stars, which are M, to the hottest ones, which are O. The amount of light a star emits is called luminosity. To measure it, we use 9 groups classified in luminosity classes. The groups range from white dwarfs, which are small and less bright, to the hypergiants, which are large and extremely bright. As light from a star races through our atmosphere, it bounces and bumps through a lot of different layers, bending the light before you can see it. Since the hot and cold layers of air keep moving, the bending of the light changes too, which causes the star to wobble or twinkle. The reason for this phenomenon is because the atmosphere scatters or spreads the light of the sun across the sky. Seeing the dim light of a distant star millions of miles away is like finding a needle in a haystack. All stars will eventually burn through their hydrogen fuel and die. Small stars will release their stellar materials into space and become white, which is the least bright kind of stars. Big stars die with a blast in a bright supernova that also releases the star material. Even bigger stars collapse into themselves, turning into a bottomless pit of gravity. The material that is ejected into space is used to make new stars.